Hello, good morning. Yeah, no, I haven't got this stupid green witch reading done yet. I know. I know, I suck. Woohoo. I'm sorry I didn't mean to step on you. I didn't mean to step on you, boo. I didn't mean to step on it, boo. I did it, I swear to God. Well, I'm on attempt. I'll say. I'm gonna attempt to read some to you. But first, I'm gonna do once again. It's not done yet, but I'm trying. Okay. Once again, I'm not mine, it's true. Oh, once again, a rendering circus with once again, a tragic ending. Oh, once again, I'm completely misconstrued. Once again, I simply can't get through. Once again, mistakes accrue. I sound too much like Melissa Etheridge and it's driving me nuts. I don't want to sound like it. I don't want this song to sound like it. You know, I gotta change it up here. I don't know what to do though. Once again. Oh, sad! Once again! Once again! And I end it's true. Oh, once again! A reading circus with you. Once again, a tragic ending blues. mistakes I grew. Once again, I simply can't get through. Once again, completely misconstrued. I don't want to sound like Melissa Etheridge. I'm sure she's quite talented. I just don't want to be sounding like a bull dyke. You know what I mean? Okay, before I start reading, to you guys, we're going to go outside for a minute. And, you know, I did make my green sauce the other day. And it's been more than a day, but it's already coming back. But you know what? I've seen more fungus flies the last few days. I thought they were all gone, and then all of a sudden, I swear someone's bringing them back in the damn house. And they're eating all my babies. That's why I gotta get them out of here. I got to get them out of here. So I want to start my vegetables. I mean, it's April. I want to be ahead of the game a little bit. Jeez. So it matches the house now. It matches the house. It needs one more coat. It's a rainy day. It is spring. Oh. Frog in a box. Frog in a box, and I'm being experimented on. I used to have 2 of these braids here, but now I only have 1. Because they're microwaving the shit out of me. They're microwaving the shit out of us, aren't they, boo? Oh, the insanity. I'm not joking, guys. It might sound like I'm joking. But I'm not joking. I used to have 2 of these braids, and now, you know, well, what does, you know, radiation do to units? God. Well, if I had any cancers, which I think is a bunch of malarkey, a bunch of fucking malarkey. I'm sorry, guys, I'm cussing a lot, aren't I? Not cool. Not cool. What you think, dude? Should we read? Should we read? Finish chapter 1 at least. So if you haven't been here with us for this book, what I've read so far is on the video, Who's Your Daddy? Who's Your Daddy? And I haven't heard back from my half-sister. I probably shouldn't have gave her this side, right? You think I'm crazy? Well. Okay. A brief history of the Green Witch. The practices of the modern Green Witch have arisen from folk healers and practitioners of folk magic. The modern Green Witch finds herself foremothers and forefathers and village herbalists, midwives, healers, wise women, and cunning folk who performed particular services for their communities. The duties of these spiritual ancestors of the Green Witch usually include midwifery and preparation of the dead for burial, as well as the use of various plants to heal mind and body. These people possess knowledge of both life and death. Yeah, the fact that, you know, we can't even bury our own dead now, and they have to be handed over to some stranger who doesn't know, you know, you from Moses to prepare for, you know, burial is absolutely disgusting. There's a big ass one right there. Where's the neem oil? Oh gosh, you guys. Oh! I don't have any in my spray bottle right now. When I see one, I usually have my spray bottle and I'll psh. I don't get it. There should be none in here. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You have to hand them over to some creepy creeps. That's why I told my daughter, I go, you know, if I pass on before you do, I don't want to be embalmed and put in a box. That's morbid. When my mother died, I was, you know, just turning 23, and she didn't have anything prepared, so I wish I would have cremated her. But because, you know, I went in there and before the funeral, or the viewing, they had her wig on weird, like she wouldn't have worn it, so I was trying to fix it, and in doing so, I noticed her on her neck, they sewed her. I know it's just a shell and a body, but still, it just doesn't seem right. But they sewed her up with burlap rope. I mean, some thick burlap rope. And the dress I gave her, they didn't put it on her. Like, I mean, they cut the back, you know. So, it just seems. I told my daughter, I go, I want to be cremated, and I want you to be there and watch it happen. Because they'll do voodoo shit on you. And I believe in that stuff, guys. It's real. I'm not, no, I don't want my body, my avatar to be entrusted to a bunch of creeps. They knew what kinds of witch flora could create both states of existence. These earlier green witches, while often respected, were more often feared and mistrusted because of the knowledge they held. They were often marginalized by their communities and lived alone or away from the social center of the community. Even today, society is often uncomfortable with those who possess knowledge not held by common man. Probably why I'm being nuked. Okay, it is also likely, however, the spiritual ancestors of the modern Green Witch choose to live apart from the center of the community because it's harder to hear what nature has to communicate to you when you are surrounded by people. Being closer to the forests and fields made it easier for the cunning folk to commune with the energies of the living world of green and to gather what they needed. Practitioners of folk music, magic, although music is magic, okay, practitioners of folk magic, those who live on the second branch of the Green Witch's family tree, are not necessarily separate from the first. Sometimes the healers were also spellcasters who performed folk magic, particularly to the region. You know, this wordage in here is like spell casting. I'm not a spellcaster. I'm a creator. I create. And that's what we as humanity have been used for by this beast of burden that has usurped every speck and ounce of our creativity to further its agenda and what it wants. And it's done a damn good job because it has divided us so much that we can't come together in communion and go forward with what we want to create. Everybody's off in their own damn world. It's okay to go there once in a while, but as a collective, we aren't going to go nowhere fast. However, just these programmed bodies that aren't connected to the living spirit are seen for what they are right now, and so those frequencies and energies are just, being ignored and brushed aside. So if we could actually come together, we could create what kind of future we want. There is no physical past right now anymore. It was dismantled, and there is no physical future anymore. It's been dismantled in a sense that they cannot do what they've been doing. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then just turn off this video and go away, please. Sometimes the healers were also spellcasters who performed folk magic, particularly to the regions such as Pennsylvania, powwow. But more often they were just grandmothers who had a talent for fixing things. Folk magic is composed of traditions and practices that have been handed down in a geographic or culturally specific area. In general, it generally focuses on divination for love and marriage. Gosh, I got cotton mouth bad. Agriculture. Duh. Success and weather prediction. Owen Davis, author of the fascinating Cunning Folk, Popular Magic and English History, explains that as opposed to being healers, cunning folk originally dealt mainly with lifting bewitchments from people who believed themselves to be victims of a curse or of some sort of spell. Witchcraft was the soil in which the careers of the cunning folk grew. When popular belief in witchcraft ended, the roles of the cunning folk ended as well. Similar paths. There are other modern paths that resemble the path of the green witch. Kitchen witches and hedge witches observe similar practices, and indeed sometimes people use these terms interchangeably with green witchcraft. All three paths have three basic things in common. They are based in folk magic. And remember what was said before. When they say magic, it is meaning utilizing and creating and working with the frequencies and energies. You know, I love, you know, the mystery and magic of this place. I really do, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. Never mind. I lost it. it went shoo. Or maybe I just they're like, you aren't gonna share that. Nope. Cut her off. Cut her off. Before we launch into a full examination of what constitutes the modern green witch's path, let us take a look at kitchen witchery and hedge magic and see how they are similar to and how they differ from one another. Kitchen witches, who are family oriented, focus on magic performed in the heart of the modern home, which is the kitchen. The kitchen witch bases her magical practice in her everyday household activities, and cooking, cleaning, baking, and so forth all become the foundation of her magical acts. Sweeping the floor free of dust and dirt may inspire a simultaneous cleansing of negative energy. For example, a kitchen witch works intuitively rather than ritually. That's me. And may or may not keep track of how she works. Hedge witches, a term used more in the UK than in the US, live close to nature, often away from urban areas. When you think of the classic wise woman on the edge of town who was visited for love charms and healing potions, you have a pretty decent idea of what the hedge witch is. The modern hedge witch is usually a solo practitioner of a neo-pagan path who uses spellcraft as a basis for her work. Modern practitioners often try to link their practice to some sort of history in order to create a sense of tradition, but that sense of tradition is not as important as the sense of self. This is particularly true of the Green Witch path. It is easy to look back and acknowledge the influences of the past on modern practice, but every Green Witch creates her own practice. There is no initiation, no adherence to a set of rules. Living the green path is really and truly a reflection of the Green Witch's inner light. Despite its so-called progress, our modern society tends to look back to a simpler time, even though pioneer days were probably harder and more isolated than life today. This yearning isn't nostalgia, which is a longing for an airbrushed memory. It is a genuine subconscious draw to knowledge that has been obscured by innovation, progress, and improvement. We don't need to remove or reverse modern innovation and give up our sidewalks and television sets now. Oh my God, I don't have a television. Television sets and computers. However, I don't have a computer, but my tablet has let me reach out to people that I wouldn't have met, because I have been so isolated and cut off from, people, and with the same sort of ideas, and just completely isolated. And it has allowed me to meet a few good friends. So, okay, so I need to quit interrupting myself, huh? What we need to do is discover how to connect in our modern environment to that earlier knowledge that is waiting for us to find it again, removing the technology and replacing it with witchcraft, working with energies, and merely substitute something older is a denial of the modern world. A green witch does not deny the world around her. She accepts it and seeks to understand how to integrate it into her spiritual practice. The green witch serves as a bridge between past and present, new and old. The trick is to recognize the presence of green energy as it exists in the world today, to learn how to see it as it still operates. The main identifying trait of the green practice is a close identification with the earth. Although honoring the earth and being aware of the natural world is a large part of the majority of the modern alternatives spiritualities, the green witch is not necessarily a member of the alternate spiritual path. The main difference between the green path and the neo-pagan religions is that the god forms are not as an essential part of the green witch's practice. While the green witch is content to look at mythology and ancient religions in order to deepen personal understanding of how earth energy, there we go, that's better, has been perceived throughout the ages. She does not necessarily worship the gods and goddesses that are expressions and representations of earth patterns and energy. The planet itself is an archetype of nurturing, but further refinement of the archetype is not necessary for the green witch. That being said, a green witch often finds a mythological figure, be it a deity or a hero, who resonates with her personal beliefs and energy. She finds inspiration in this mythological figure. This does not, however, lead to worship of that figure. Here, here. Whereas alternative religions promote the idea that humanity is a steward or custodial of the planet, and we are, and we get a big fat F. The green witch understands that she is the manifestation of the earth itself, not merely a caretaker. Yeah. Yeah, when my avatars expire, I don't try to proceed up Jacob's ladder, rungs to Nowheresville. I simply go back into the prana. And there might be times where, it takes me a while to wake my consciousness. Maybe it's just because I just need absolute darkness and peace in resting